might fade away. Do you know what I mean? I've been making videos all day. Do you know what I mean? It's the only chance I've had to have something to eat. How are we doing, guys? You all right? Right, so David Ornstein has surfaced. He's done one of them fancy Q&As for The Athletic. Now, it's behind a paywall, I assume. I don't know. I pay for the Athletic. But a friend of mine was saying that there's this website called archive.ph. You type that into the browser. And then there's like the second box down. If you paste into there a link from The Athletic or The Times or even the Mail, you know, if it's behind the paywall, it opens it up. That's what I was doing. I've never done it. Anyway, we're going to touch on some things to do with David Ornstein. Now, if you're new around these parts, my opinion is that you only need to pay attention to two Liverpool journalists in the world. Well, he's not really a dedicated, Liverpool journalist, but he's good. And the other one, of course, is Paul Joyce at the Times, or Born Again Joyce, as we call him, since Michael Edwards returned to the club. So Joyce and Ornstein, you do not have to listen to anybody else. If you want to listen to any of them low-level clicky LFC journals, they're all in the same clique. They used to write for a newspaper, but, now they've just got YouTubes and they're just peasants like the rest of us, then that's fine, all right? You do know, don't you, that when the club announced the news, that Mo Salah signed a new deal, or Virgil van Dijk signed a new deal, or that Trent Alexander-Arnold signed for Real Madrid, that clique of journalists, from the minute it breaks, it'll be like, and this is how it happened, this is how it broke down over the last 2 weeks, the full breakdown of it. That they don't know anything now, but they'll know everything when it happens. Anyway, the only two you need to listen to is David Ornstein at The Athletic and Paul Joyce at The Times, but you form your own opinions. Anyway, so one of the questions that he was given today, I can't read the entire thing out because that would be wrong. So we're going to focus on things that I think you might be interested in. One of the questions was, any information about Real Madrid's rumoured interest in Martin Zubimendi? And Ornstein said, without wanting to discredit the reporting of others, I personally haven't heard this. Me neither. He keeps being mentioned with Real Madrid. In fact, it was in the Spanish papers today. I think it might have been Mundo Deportivo. I did a video on it on here today. But that's the Barcelona media, The Real Madrid media, let's call it the Madrid-based media. I think AS did something recently, Huijsen and Zubimendi attracting interest. But as I said for a while, I think that Real Madrid, it's not the profile they're looking for a minute. Yeah, he's a good player, they acknowledge that. But I don't, this, if you follow my daily briefings, reviews. And he's basically saying the same. Arsenal are expecting Zubimendi to join them from Real Sociedad in the summer. I think that's where everyone's expecting him to go. I don't know if that means it is completely done, but for some time now, they have been working on the basis that he'll be coming in. A huge amount of work went into getting them to that point. And then it talks about the sporting directors and people taking over the jobs, and maybe they'll know more then. Andrea Berta will be starting there, it says here. I think that's his name. So we will hopefully learn a bit more on this one. Other areas in due course. Zubimendi, he'll be on the move in the summer, I'm pretty sure. I know many of you don't care about him anymore. I do. I want to see where he goes. He stayed loyal to his club last summer. He only wanted to leave with his blessing. Some of you got wound up. He rejected Liverpool because the Twitter twats, the aggregators, said, he found it easy to reject Liverpool. He never said that. He said he didn't find it difficult, to even think about, walking out on Real Sociedad. He was happy to leave. He wanted to join Liverpool, but only with the blessing. He didn't want to shit on his club, right? There's not many players like that around. And I'm sure many of you, wish that Trent Alexander-Arnold was showing the same loyalty. Anyway. So Zubimendi, according to Ornstein, he's not heard anything about Real Madrid, and he thinks, that everyone thinks that he'll go to Arsenal, and I would agree with that. So yeah, let's move forward. He was then asked about Alexander Isak. How many clubs can actually afford what Newcastle are likely looking to demand for him? And he replies as follows. The first thing to say is I don't know of Newcastle wanting to get involved in any part exchange situations. That was part of the question. That may be a tactic used by other clubs. Like who? to try tempting them into parting with someone like Isak, but I doubt it will appeal to the St James's Park hierarchy at all. In terms of Isak, Newcastle have no desire to sell. He still have 3 years left on his contract come the summer, and don't forget they've invested heavily in him, the transfer fee and his salary, so it would take something astronomical to prize him away. And you think Liverpool will offer that? Do you? And the salary as well? That's, it's not just the transfer fee. History tells us every player has a price. Absolutely, I always say this, everything in life's got a price. I was going to make a joke then, but I best not. History tells us every player has a price, and if somebody offers what is considered market value, or even higher, perhaps Newcastle will have something to think about. We know Isak has suitors, including Arsenal and Liverpool. But I'm not aware of any club-to-club approaches or conversations at this point. Obviously, that probably will change, but Newcastle are under no abnormal pressure to sell, and there have so far been no signs of the player agitating to leave. Unfortunately for Newcastle fans, because they understandably hate all this chat, I do anticipate it being one of the biggest talking points heading into and during the next market, because Isak is the top target for several clubs, but that doesn't mean he won't be playing for Newcastle next season, especially if they are back in the Champions League. I think he'll stay in Newcastle. I do, unless we go in and offer 150 million and Darwin Núñez. He was asked about Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, anything on them? And also, does Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving increase the chances of those players being offered higher wages, as we've seen claimed today in my today's exclusive from Egypt? So with Trent leaving, could more funds be available for higher wages, closer to their demands, and extending with Liverpool? Was the club waiting until Alexander-Arnold made his decision to make final offers for Salah and Van Dijk? No, I don't believe that one bit. Sorry, it's Ornstein that's been asked to quit. I don't believe that one bit. They're not fucking stupid. They know what's going on. Let's see what he says. As mentioned in previous weeks and months, Liverpool are optimistic both will renew their contracts, and that it's just a matter of time. I agree. Until it is done, we can't say for certain, and it would appear there is still work to do. But there has been nothing so far to suggest Liverpool's confidence has changed on these two. My assumption is that Liverpool will have had a certain amount of clarity on the Alexander-Arnold situation for some time, certainly compared to us on the outside, and therefore I'm not sure it would have much or any bearing on the Salah and Van Dijk budgets. Each case has probably been dealt with in its own right and on merit, with much deeper thinking than just shifting money around. While I get your point, I don't think a salary saving on Alexander-Arnold will suddenly see more money allocated to Salah and Van Dijk. It doesn't work like that. And personally, I'd find it a bit strange if they found out about Alexander-Arnold and then suddenly went to the other two and offered them a load more than had previously been on the table. I suspect the club and the players will be making their decisions irrespective of the potential Alexander-Arnold saving. Finally, someone talking fucking sense. And this is why you only need to listen to him and Joyce. Yes, you are going to get some propaganda. Yes, they're going to say things for the club and not say things for the club. Absolutely. Ornstein more connected to FSG, but still in with those running the club on a day-to-day basis. The other one, Joyce, more connected to Edwards and co, the people that run the club on a day-to-day basis. But he's talking sense, absolutely. I'm so glad he's saying what I've said today, really. Doesn't mean that I'm a genius, but that DKB, Dunk knows best. It's not a slogan, It's fucking true. Is there any news on who will replace Trent? Is asked next. Or are they looking to spend elsewhere? Are they looking to spend elsewhere? Connor Bradley, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what he's going to say. Right now, I think left-back is a bigger priority for Liverpool than right-back, given not only the options you mentioned, but also the market possibilities. I'm not saying if Alexander-Arnold leaves, they definitely won't replace him this summer. I just don't know if it being top of the to-do list right now. You imagine one of Andy Robertson or Kostas Tsimikas will have to leave for recruitment to happen at left-back, but the heavy links to Milos Kerkez of Bournemouth indicate that this is an area of greater focus than right-back for the time being. I would agree with that too, wouldn't you, guys? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Normally when we read stuff, we go, what a load of fucking shite. It's right, isn't it? Finally, he talks about Huijsen. He says Chelsea like Huijsen a lot. So do plenty of other clubs. It's interesting that he said that today when I think, was it Mundo Deportivo? I'm not sure, you'd have to watch the video that I uploaded today. It is titled Dean Huijsen. There was an article published in the football dailies here today, one of the football dailies, saying Chelsea interfere with Huijsen transfer. And he's now saying that Chelsea like him a lot. I've not heard that until today. So that's interesting. But he says so do plenty of other clubs. I think his dream would be Real Madrid. But that doesn't mean they'll do the deal. It's a £50 million release clause to get him out of Bournemouth this summer, so that shouldn't be an issue for any of his suitors. Some may look to pay a bit more in order to stagger the payments, but ultimately it would be up to the player. Now, I spoke to a journalist at Marca very recently, within the last couple of days, and that journalist told me that while Real Madrid really like him, they're not looking for that at the moment, but they may have to do something, or may try to do something, because they see him as an immense player, and he is. He's going to be fucking huge, right? Now, what he said to me was that Real Madrid don't want to pay the £50 million, 60 million euros release clause. So that means maybe if they could get him for 30 million or something, they'll do the business in the summer. If they don't, that could leave an opening for someone else. It could leave an opening for someone else. But your expectations have been managed, haven't they, under this ownership? So both you and I both know at this point, we both go, we won't pay £50 million for a fucking 19-year-old defender. So forget it. That's it. All right? So, the player, he was born in the Netherlands, moved to Spain when he was 5, sees himself as more Spanish. That was evident within the last week when he debuted for Spain seniors in the Netherlands, the country he was born in, for Spain, and was harassed throughout. And also in the reverse leg, I went to the second leg in that UEFA Nations League game. He was phenomenal. He wasn't just a great defender, he was great going forward. He was like an attacking midfielder. And he was pinging them balls around like Jan Molby did back in the day. Fucking great player. If I was at Liverpool, I'd be going, fucking go all out to get this kid, trust me. Anyway, I'm not at Liverpool, and that's probably a good thing, because if I was, Iago Aspas would still be up front. Anyway, all right, I'm off now. That's all right. Right, I'm off. See you later. Hey, if you appreciate this video, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. If you want to buy me a coffee, hit the love heart, the super thanks button under the video, and I will give you a shout out in tomorrow morning's morning briefing on my other YouTube channel. All right? I'll tell everyone how fucking great. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm not going to cry about it. All right? Be nice if you did, though. Just saying. And pisses my haters off. Really does. But you know what? Don't cost you nothing to leave a nice little comment, does it? Just saying. All right, you can leave now. I'll stop the recording when I've got a mouthful. Ooh, that's what she said. Someone told me off today, left me a comment saying, me and my son watch a lot of Liverpool channels, but you use too much profanity, so we won't be watching. All right. You won't hear anything different here than you will do at a fucking football game, will you? Imagine taking your son to a football, your kid, and going, excuse me, could you not use that language? Oh, man, so fuck, I've said he could. No, I understand it, it's fine, I get it. But I don't understand why you're telling me you're not going to watch. I don't need to know. I'm going to lose any sleep. I'm certainly not going to go out there and cry into my swimming pool. That's it. I won't get a coffee now. See you later, guys.